Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer, and welcome back to PCM24 Yeti. It's episode number 3. 6 riders for this race, 107 for the rather small peloton, not an objective, and not the higher level 1.1 or 2.1. So, at stake, if we were to pull off the surprise victory, would be one of those popularity 1 nations that we have yet to unlock. Like our first objectives of the year, 5 of the 6 riders here today. And I really feel like I better get somebody into this break. 5 of the 6 riders today are on fitness peaks and have better expected race day conditions. Not good expected race day conditions because the lack of racing. It's late May now. It hasn't been the 60 days, but the overall... I hate how a ton of riders attack and nobody bats an eyelash, but we attack with a 50 guy and suddenly the field's chasing it down, right? Today, gravel. We are into a gravel race, and you can see just how quickly Demovsky gets dropped by the group and falls back into the peloton. Speaking of, everybody else lost their position rather rapidly. We better up the effort and change our focus. And look what happens. 1 rider's dropped. There's 19 riders away. It's not about that 20th. It's about us. That mechanic from last year's game with the aggressive AI, that's not gone anywhere. It's still there. It's you versus everybody else. I would not be surprised at all if that group of 19 wins this race. We tried to put somebody who is literally the equivalent of the worst rider in the field into the breakaway, and he is the one that they had to chase down. Gap's already 349. If you didn't see the first look video, oh my goodness, we're going 75 effort. Look how fast we are dropping backwards. This is ratings, folks. Gravel, dirt is now taken into account, unlike previous years. Oh, no, Alamascri. Wow, we are, our whole team is getting dropped here. Our whole team is going out the back. Wait for your teammate. Let's try to pull it back together. There's a lot of time. There we go. Demovsky, go and do the work. Most of our team went out the... No, all of our team went out the back. Gonzalo, these guys are riding solo right now, and I really don't want them putting in much of an effort. Let these guys pull them back. It's a one-day classic, so it's really not a big deal. We have a nice, healthy gap till the next sector. We are getting a little support now, but Alamascri needs to start putting some effort in. Yeah, there you go. We've just pulled back a big group. This is now considered the peloton. 54. There's 35 chasing, but there's 644 down. 644. That's a gruppetto right there. We don't want to be out of this race just yet. That 6-minute gap went to 8 in the short time frame that it took us to get a rider to come forward. I don't think we're going to see that group again now. We have 0 riders in contention. I knew today was going to be bad, but I didn't expect it to happen in literally the first 3 sectors, and that half the field would be eliminated by that point, not just us. I figured a lot of my team would be. I thought I might be able to protect a couple guys for a while, hang in there a little bit longer, but no, we literally just had our entire team dropped. Anticipating what is coming, and not just wanting to be in a gruppetto scenario and try to do something to finish a little higher, we are going to set ourselves up for the sector to come and make a push. We got dropped by, well, the riders ahead of us there, and we're going to be down to 3 guys left in contention here in a moment. Still haven't made contact with this group ahead of us. Meanwhile, the peloton's still 7 minutes ahead, so just trying to make contact with this group. A new gruppetto is forming with three of the 4 riders that are there are my guys. We are so bad. Okay, we've made contact with that group, and wow. But now we are not even in the Gruppetto group. Anybody want to contribute here? No? Well, let's just put them on auto. That is our day done. Long way from the finish before we even get to the bulk of the difficult sectors. Peloton now has 30 riders left as we check in with them up the road. The breakaway is down to 14. And you can see just how rough these gravel sectors are and how much it's splitting the field. Because now there's 13 and just 7 chasing. Meanwhile, our top rider is 13 minutes behind all of this already. And that chase group has made contact with that breakaway. I feared that the breakaway might win, but no, here we are looking at a very small select group of riders. And there's only one rider in the field today that actually looks like a decent rider. This is a weak field, but we're even weaker. Comes back together a bit. It's 24 chasing 1. Teutenberg, here's the favorite. This guy is expected to win this race. He's on Trek Junior. He's Trek Future team, I think is what they call them. He's got a 73 flat, he's got a 74 sprint, and a 70 cobble rating, 71 stamina. There's nothing terribly impressive about those ratings, except that it's 20 points better than anything we have. But after him, there's a couple 70 attributes in the field, but nothing mostly across the board like what he has. From the second favorite on down, you're looking at riders that are in the 60s. Which is still a lot higher, right? It's much higher than what we are, but it's a good 5 points behind him. Final 10. His group getting split off. He had to do a lot of work there. Coming back together a little bit. 8 chasing 2. Final sector right here. And he gets in a group of 3 now chasing 2. Will they make that contact? Muff, yeah, there you go. A couple 70s, right? But time trial rating doesn't matter. It's just his flat. I think he's one of the favorites. It's a front 8. Couple riders on the attack. Muff, who we just saw. Nats, 69 flat rating. No 70s, but he's on that list of favorites. 3.5K. He's got a 6-second advantage. Wang. Okay, they've been caught. Group of 4 now. Muir, Muff, there's Teutenberg back together again. 9 riders with 1K to go to sprint it out. Teutenberg, he is the best sprinter, but he does not have enough left in the tank. It's Muir with the win. And we're half an hour down. 5 of my 6 riders finished in the final 6 positions on the grid. Mohammadi, our top rider, was 36 minutes down in 96th out of the 107 rider field. Cobble and gravel and or dirt is our enemy right now. A day later, we're at it again, but we just went through the one and only cobbled sector this time. The opposition, the field, the teams, the riders, it's virtually all of the same riders we just went up against a day ago. The big difference being that I've swapped out my entire team. I have 12 riders total. 6 raced yesterday. The other 6 are racing today. And actually that race day condition turned out a bit better this time. All of them had a more neutral motivation level. And all 6 are on their fitness peaks right now. So we actually turned out looking pretty okay. We've got a +2 as our weakest rider on the race day condition. It certainly helps a little bit, and we have much better chance of doing something without all those cobbled sectors or gravel sectors today. 2.5 minute advantage for the breakaway. Once again, I did try to put somebody in the breakaway, but the field hates to have my team have somebody in the break. It's always one rider too many, or I don't know. It's just how the AI is. Okay, well, 72K to go, and I've got to get water one more time. We are feeling some fatigue, but the climbs are now pretty much all behind us. This is now coming down to, can we handle the tempo? Because we have really poor flat ratings, even with +4s, +5s, it's still looking pretty weak for us, and we're about to hit a climb here. Relatively the last hill of the day, and it's gonna punish us a little bit. We do drop back, but at least the protected guys are still looking okay. Ascot, Jamoto are definitely time to gel up for those two. It looks like we're going to have a limited number of riders there at the finish, if anybody. I mean, we're still chasing down the breakaway. The tempo is really bad for us. Jamoto out the back along with Lindbjerg, who he came together with, and Jamoto, let's put him on auto. They might get back in contact, but they might not because the tempo is pretty bad. And there's actually riders attacking right now. Jamoto has made it back up here. Jamoto, let's get back to protecting. So for the moment, we shouldn't see too many attacks. Can we protect? We'll give it a shot. 216. 216. The breakaway is going to win this thing. It's down to 9 riders, and the breakaway is going to win. The gap is opening. Gap coming down a little bit. There's a chance that breakaway is not going to win this thing. Oh, it's come down fast now. Okay, there's still a shot to catch them. Not guaranteed. 9 riders away, minute and a half up the road, and you've got a few sprint teams that are setting themselves up to go for it. 14K. Still a hair too far for me. I gotta watch that gap. The gap's holding steady right now. Okay, 11.5. I think we're maybe close enough. Maybe. Mao is definitely looking the strongest today, so we will ride for him. And we're on to Zamet at 11.5K. He cannot go full gas, but what can he do to help us chase down these guys? Get blocked by Arnez. That's what he's managed to do so far. 10K banner. There we go. We're finding some space. It's less than a minute. That was the last hill. We're going to get a little downhill swing here in a moment. 8K. We're going to start to speed up with Zamet. Still chasing those guys down, but down to 37 seconds. And we're seeing a push. We're seeing a late attack. There's Teutenberg again. Oh, Zamet's done. 5K. Okay. Simmons. I think 97 is probably appropriate. It's just 3 riders. We're going to fade pretty quick. 4K. Can those 9 be overcome? It's going to be tight. 3K. I think they're going to... Are they? No, they are not going to win. They are being reeled in right now. 2K. Simmons is soft sprinting. He's giving us at least a good position, and Fuseni takes off. Not high enough to win this thing, but as we approach the line... Can we get another top 10? Teutenberg takes the win. No surprise. He's got a huge advantage over the rest of the field with essentially the same riders. The top 10 looked in order, but we fade really late now. Fuseni, 10th place. Like I said, there was a pretty big drop-off after Teutenberg. You get to riders in the 60s. But Fuseni, 56 sprint today. 58 flat, like 10th. Not quite as impressive as that last one we got, but it's pretty close. Hard to pull that off. The remainder of our calendar for this year is national championships and just 2 more races, but unlike the 4 that we've done so far, each is a stage race, but again split evenly amongst the team. So Arctic Race of Norway, which we have a visibility target, unfortunately, for. That is 2 pro, so win there would be a huge plus for us. We'd be looking at Popularity 3 unlocks happening. And PostNord Tour of Denmark is also a 2 pro race. Both of those are going to be punching way above our weight. Our chances of doing something there is going to be incredibly slim. The Giro is ongoing right now, and a 3-point gain for Ireland. 6 points now for winning a stage at the Giro. And that just happened a couple days ago. I think there's going to be a lot more notices of this type coming up in the next little bit because the Grand Tours will bump it to 6 points and the nations just aren't there. Most of the nations had 3s, 4s, or 5s or less. There's hardly a nation, there might not be a nation above 5 points. So with a 20% chance of a boost over a 21 stage race, times 3 of these Grand Tours, we should see a lot of bonuses to popularity this year. The sad thing about that is we are probably missing out from the looks of it. Our best chances are behind us of getting a win this season, though we've obviously done well. And national championships, we will get some wins there, but again, none of those, unless it's in a larger field and it's a bunch sprinted, we win a bunch sprint, none of those would count for a popularity 1 boost for us, just because they shouldn't if you're the only racer or one of only 2 racers in a breakaway type scenario like we've already managed to do. I've written down 10 nations. I believe we're at 13 or 14 right now because I didn't write down the first ones until I'm going, wait, I need to know when these nations are leveling up, because Ireland, as a 6-point popularity nation, should not be in the 3-point group. So I will have to adjust the groups as time goes on as these nations level up. Now, if I unlock Ireland and then it gets a boost, well, that's a different matter. We'll keep any nations that we do unlock. Prior to unlocking them, they should be in their relevant group at the time. Should be dynamic. Into late June, the first national championship race has already come up with another automatic victory, as the other riders from the nation didn't show up to the race. Without them there, and with that victory, again, that's not a popularity 1 boost, but what it is a sponsorship boost. Approval rating is up to a 95 now. We're just shy of a 100. And as a result, the prospecting that I've been active with for a while, just curious about how this system works, the offers that are coming in are suddenly coming in for a whole lot more. 920, 938, 905, 962, 962,000. We're making 804,000 this year. In theory, our team should be offering more in the coming year, but are they going to even show up? I mean, they're not on our list of potential sponsors. That's got question marks for me. Can we even sign? Are they going to give us an offer for the coming year? I don't know how this system works yet. I'll find out soon enough. If you already know, I'm assuming that some of you started your playthroughs a little earlier than I did, and somebody has had to have made it to this stage, to that signing period. In theory, our existing sponsor should give us an offer. How much and when? I would assume with a 95 happiness rating that it should be a pretty healthy offer, I would think. But we do have these coming up that haven't come yet. And based on the old system, anything after August won't matter. But it's not the old system. Or is it? Is our deadline to sign? Well, deadline to sign these offers came and went. I don't know. This might be the last time trial that I try to do here for national championships. Reason being, there isn't much hope. There's 13 riders here. And Domovsky, I can't overcome the fact that he's got a 51 time trial and a 49 stamina today very easily. You put in something perfect and you can overcome somebody a few points ahead of you. But we're not going to overcome a 55 time trial, because especially when you add the bonuses on top, a 5% bonus to a 55 is going to already put them at about 57 and a half, closer to 58, plus whatever race day condition they have. Time trials are really difficult to overcome, and we got what, 3 riders behind us of 13. So I'm or was dead last. I'm going to have a real hard time doing anything in this time trial, and certainly, it's one thing to beat a couple riders. That's impressive itself, but it's definitely not going to equate to a win. So our hope is Domovsky going into the Macedonian individual race and pulling off the victory there. But of course, the best way to do that is to get in the breakaway and then win from the breakaway. We've already done that. We've done that with 2 riders. If I can get maybe 5 or more competitive riders in a group, I think that would be enough to properly call it a victory. Maybe 4 or more would be enough. A victory is a victory, technically. And we're just talking about 2 individual Pop 1 nations. So, yeah, I think setting the bar at about 4 riders would be enough. Well, anyway, at the second time check, we are 12th out of the 13. 4 minutes down. And as we head for the finish line, we are out of yellow bar well before the final kilometer. We're going to be the last rider to finish. Those 3 guys who were behind us are all crossing the line before us. And I run out of juice with 250 meters left, which is going to cost us even more time, and we do end up dead last at 7.5 minutes down. 7.5 minutes away! That's why, doesn't do much good to go out with the time trial for these races. We'll focus on the road race, though. In a field of less than 10, there's one continental team that has a bunch of riders. This is Fuseni, it's Benin, and it's a short one. It's only 15K. But here's the thing about this race. For one, Fuseni has a +2. He's working well right now. He's pushing a good tempo. And look, he's catching up to Hueto. 51 time trial rating. But we do have a +3 on that. And it's a mix of time trial and prologue at this distance. That's a 58 today. The favorite has a 57 time trial rating. Didn't look at their prologue, but there is the tiniest of chances that we might just be able to get a win here with Fuseni. I mean, we're beating Hueto, no problem. Let's look at this first time check, and where do we come in at? It's 3rd place, but it's 42 seconds down on Sawu. What can we do in the final stretch? It's only 9 riders, and we are 4th. So Yeti also just 10 seconds down. You can see all of them are on the same team. They are all on a Benin-based team here, and beating them will not be easy, as Sawu is already 1.5 minutes up on anybody else, as we are just 3 kilometers from the finish. And you can see we're setting a good steady tempo, and I think I might be able to crack the top 3 here, but it looks like we might be just short of what's capable for a win. But Sawu certainly looks difficult to overcome at this point with 1 kilometer left. We've definitely gained that ground. Here we go. Final 300 meters, 200 meters, 99. Second place! We do overcome the one guy, the Saisanu, who was just ahead of us at the first time check. We do overcome him, and we do move up onto the podium. Great result for a rider who's a 51 time trialist. Of course, none of the 9 are actually good, but at a 57 base, Sawu and Sodyete were just too good. We were close, we were competitive. So we had bypassed a number of individual time trials. There may be a scenario. I'm definitely checking each one to see if we have anybody who is remotely close to competitive with a favorite in a field that, would have at least 4 riders in it. That's my objective at this point. Minimum 4 riders to count for the Pop 1 stuff. Right? I won't count any Pop 2 or Pop 3 beyond. Those are going to take those proper races. Those are not going to happen in national championships. But for the hunting of those last 2 Pop 1 nations, Monaco and Liechtenstein, I think that's my minimum standard. And man, oh man, we got close on our first go. Weakest rider in the field, but a weak field. We beat 6 of them. Couldn't beat the last 2. Mighty close, though. But 1.5 minutes really isn't that that close, is it? It was definitely a ways off the pace that they were setting. I think our odds are definitely better in the road race of pulling something off, but the difficulty here, the Team Benin has, that entire group, all 8 riders are on the same team. So Fuseni, when we go for the road race, he's going to be racing against these same 8 guys. And that's the problem. That's the difficulty. He's alone. I think realistically for this first season, we're looking at a maximum of about 6 episodes, maybe 3 more. We've got 2 stage races and the remainder of the national championships and the opportunities. For the national championships, those are opportunities at those Pop 1s. We're looking at Pop 3 opportunities on those last 2, which is probably going to be a bit too hard. But we also have our signings coming up. Looking forward to that, and of course figuring out this mystery of sponsorships and how that's working this year. That's going to do it for this episode though, folks. It really comes down to the first 3 episodes on the algorithm on whether it's going to make any difference. So please take a moment, drop below, click that like button, leave that comment to help out with that algorithm. We'll move on from there with viewership after that, really coming down to those who want to see, those who are interested in this snowball additional feature to the Build a Continent. I'm Decathlon Gamer. Thanks for being here. Have a good one. Be safe out there. Bye for now.